Hi everybody, Levy here, and today I'm going to tell you how to set up the new Resident Evil 3 REbirth patch made by Gemini. This is mainly used for speedrunners as far as this guide goes, but I'm going to give you a general overview of how the mod works, some of the things inside of it that are for speedrunners or general players alike, and yeah, just hope you guys enjoy it. Make sure you give Gemini a follow as well. He's the guy that created this whole thing, and me and some other people have been testing it over the last few days, and it's been great. So yeah, make sure you drop him a follow, and all his applicable social media I'll put down below in the description. Yeah, but before you go ahead and do this, you're going to need some prerequisites, so some things that you need for this. And what you're going to need, and I have links for all of this below in the description, and I'll show you where to find it, is we need a copy of Resident Evil 3, either the Taiwanese version or the Chinese version. I will include links to both, but for this guide I'm just going to use the Taiwanese version because that's what I use for runs. We're going to have the DDraw file here, which is going to actually be the patch itself. Now, this is actually have come out before the actual release date, so this was given to me, but it will be on his page that I will link below. You just look for RE3 Resident Evil 3 REbirth patch and you'll find it there. You need the Biohazard 3 SourceNext 1.1.0 patch, which patches the exe files. I'm also going to include some fresh splits that are completely empty, door splits, as well as splits for any percent and Nemesis percent. So we will go over setting up the mod first. I'll go over the intricacies and the ins and outs and the different features, and then after that I'll show you how to set it up in live splits, so that way you can do splits, or do speedruns, I mean. Alright, so the first thing you're going to need is you're going to need to download Resident Evil 3. So, a link below in the description here, it's going to be Resident Evil 3, and when you go ahead to the link, it's going to lead you to this Resident Evil 3 Taiwan. Right click, go to download. It's going to go ahead and download it. So then boom, bam, you've got your RE3 here. Right click it, and with your unzipper of choice, extract the files. Just give it a minute to go ahead and do its thing. And, oh, where'd it go? Oh, it's right there. Presto changeo, you've got your Resident Evil 3. You can go ahead and get rid of this zipped one. And then after this, as you open it up, you'll see that everything's inside this folder here. The game doesn't need to be run by any sort of mounting or anything like that. You would just run the game straight from the folder. So right now this is the vanilla folder. You don't need to adjust anything in it because we're going to be putting some stuff inside of it. So the next thing you need to download is the REbirth SourceNext, or the Biohazard 3 SourceNext patch. So this patches the exe, so that way you can actually run the patch. So you go ahead and hit download, and it's going to go ahead and download this BH3 1.1.0 dot whatever your extension's using for your unzipping. So we're going to go ahead and zip this and hit OK. Do I already have this on my desktop? Yeah, I guess I do. Let's just say yes to all. Where did I put? Oh, it's right here. Okay, so yeah, you're going to get this folder here now, once you're done with that. And then with the folder, you're going to go inside of it, and there's going to be three things. Now, this ROFS4.dat is, you don't need to use it for the Chinese version. Or actually, is it the Chinese version? Yeah, the Chinese version, you need the ROFS4.dat, but for the Taiwanese version, you don't need it. But for all intents and purposes and just simplicity, just copy everything and drop it in here. Now you can keep your old EXEs from the vanilla in here because we're not going to be running from it, so you don't have to go and back it up or anything. It'll all be in there. All right, so now that that's been added in there, go ahead and close this folder. The next thing we need is the patch itself. So like I said, I really don't have like a website. It's going to be on this website right here. It's probably going to be on the left. It's going to be on the left side here, and it's going to say Resident Evil 3 Classic REbirth Patch, and there's going to be a link to it. But because I'm making this video before it actually released, I really don't have a place to have it go. But that's where you would go, and you get the DLL file, and then the DLL file, and all you have to simply do is just copy it, paste it in here, and boom, now that's ready to go. So now, the fun part. So I'm going to go ahead and explain to you each and every feature that is included in this. Some of it will probably not be applicable for you guys if you're just doing this for casual purposes, but I'm trying to make this video a little bit more speedrun centric, so I will explain some of the fun speedrun stuff. So go ahead and make sure you're opening up your Biohazard R 3pc.exe. This is what we're going to be using when we want to use the mod. So when you open it up, it's going to bring up this configuration window. Now, there are a lot of options you see here, so I'm just going to go over each and every one of them, plus some hidden options that you may not have known about. So up here in the graphics API, it's always going to be Direct 3D9. That can't be changed. Your graphics adapter, if you have more than one monitor like me, just choose whatever one you want it to display the game on. Mine's just on my main monitor, so we keep it on that. Resolution. So this can now be resized from 320 by 240, which I'll show you how to get the 320 by 240, all the way up to full screen. I usually run 1280 by 960 because that's just what I do. It's one of the biggest 4x3 resolutions, so we go ahead and do that. So choose whatever resolution you want to really have. Retro mode, as the name says, it renders everything at a 240p resolution, and despite whatever the actual game is running at, so it'll always be at 240p no matter what. Enable for a 240p mode, so when I go ahead and tick this just for sake of the video, now that resolution has now been added if you want to have that while you're playing, but I'm not going to be using it, so I'm going to go ahead and tick that off. Texture filtering enables bilinear filtering. Press F7 in game to switch between filtered and unfiltered, so that way you can play around with that if you want. Force 240p background, so this normalizes the quality between layering masks and backgrounds by forcing the background to scale down to the original 320 by 240. So essentially it just makes everything fit nicely into the original 320 by 240 resolution that the game runs at. Rendering fix, this fixes warp textures and wobbly polygons. I would just keep that on. Sound, it's pretty self-explanatory. As a little side note, when you actually open up the game, don't adjust any sort of sound or control setting in there. Always do it from the config, because it will mess up if you do that. So just keep that in mind, that if you're going to be adjusting anything in the game, adjust it here. So, like I said, sounds pretty self-explanatory. Adjust the volume sliders to your liking. All right, miscellaneous. So miscellaneous, we have controller input method. If you're using like an Xbox One controller, well, like it says, use X input if you have an Xbox One, Xbox 360, or Xbox Series X controller. Otherwise, you stick to direct input for broader stuff like a PlayStation or like a DualShock 3 or 4 for raw input. I don't use controller for this. I don't think a lot of people don't, but I don't either. But some people use controller. But if you want to use a controller, feel free. So one of the hidden settings that is in this is, it used to be that by default in the vanilla version that you could use arrow keys for bindings. But in this, we had it where you, in an earlier build of this, you weren't able to bind any type of movement to your arrow keys. When I speedrun and play this game, I like using the arrow keys. So what you can go ahead and do is, as a secret little menu, if you press F3, it'll now say default keys disabled. You can now rebind default keyboard buttons up, down, left, right, and enter. Be careful. So if you want to turn that off, hit F3 again, and now those buttons cannot be rebound. So the arrow buttons and pretty much the enter buttons can be rebound. But for sake of speedrun and binding all of my things, I'm going to hit that, so that way I can do it. So now if you want to rebind your controls, you hit the rebind button here. Now, the way that I bind my keys is all personal preference, but if you are proud to think of a preference of the way that you want to set this up, feel free to follow how I do it. So I use WSA and D for movement, change target, and I do like the Q. Aim enemies, I do up arrow, if it'll let me, up arrow. Aim all, right arrow. My map button, or the door skip button, is space. Status, for your inventory, is F. For run or canceling out, I do left shift. Confirm and fire, I do left arrow. And then I leave the option button and pause menu to Z and X just because it's right underneath me. So we'll do that. Now what's cool about this is there's also an alternate keys button. So when you tick the alternate keys here, you'll see everything's empty. Now there's two different things that we can use in this game that are for speedruns. We use deke, and you can also rebind a quick turn. To, instead of doing down and S, you can bind it to a single key. So for deke, which is delayed input cancel, we want to bind a key to a key that will move the cursor left and right in the inventory to pick up items fast. So for me, I use E. So whatever key you want to use, depending on what you have your keyboard layout on, you want to bind whatever key you want to use on both left, and turn right. Now for me, also, I like to have a key bound for quick turns. So quick turns would be run, which would be here, and I have mine on C. So you do that, and then I also have that on backwards. So when I press C, it'll input both of those at the same time and do a quick turn. So when you want to go back to your main keys here, untick this off, and you're ready to go. Now when you press OK, it's going to say ignore and close. It's going to tell you that you've double bound stuff. Go ahead and ignore that. It's just letting you know that it could cause an issue, but if you are doing this, it shouldn't be an issue. Ignore and close. All right, so some more settings that are here. Favorable RNG. So this is if you want to play the game and you don't want to, and you want to have the best puzzle solution, you can go ahead and have this tick. This gives you 0131 in the RPD, Adderville for the pharmacy. This gives you 11 o'clock for the clock tower puzzle with Amber Obsidian Crystal, 531 for the hospital, and High Empty for the water puzzle. Now this is something that is very obvious to detect if somebody was using this during a speedrun. There are some such things in place that would show very blatantly for someone trying to speedrun, so it's not really something that people can get away with, which is good. But if you just want to messing around, or maybe you want to just have it on just to see how fast you can do it without worrying about that, you can tick that on. Remove doors, that actually disables the door transitions altogether. It's actually not beneficial for speedruns because it's actually faster to tap the doors as opposed to having the door transitions altogether. So it's a little counterintuitive, but for casual runs, if you just want to have door transitions gone, you can do that. Univocal outfit names. So when you go ahead and tick this on, it's going to display non-ambiguous outfit names. So instead of going costumes 1 through 7 and then normal, it's going to actually give you names of them, like Biker Jill and Disco Jill, and I forgot what the other ones are called. But you know, play around with that if you want. Enable Japanese, as it says, it disables the English translation, so tick that on. I'm going to have that on because Japanese text is faster, or Chinese text is faster for speedruns. Ignore focus. So when you have this ticked on, essentially when you click out of the game, so you want to go click out of something or move outside the window, the game will still go. Now, I don't like having that on, so that way when you have live split running and the game running, if you click out of the game will pause, and so will live split, and that's really good because they really don't care if you do that too much. So feel free to do that at will. Enable movies. If you want to watch the movies in the game, have it on. If you don't, which if you're speedrunning, you don't, take it off. Another setting, always boot configure mode. I would keep this on at always, so every time you boot up the game, instead of having to completely get rid of or enable a setting in the config.ini, I would just do it here so that every time you open up the game, it gives you this configuration window. Now, another important little secret setting is, for those of you that run this game, you know that there's a grenade launcher tool, or at least there was. That's not needed anymore. There is a secret grenade launcher tool. So when hit F2, the grenade launcher tool awaits for you in the stars room. This option is temporary and will reset when you shut the game down for good. Good luck, runner. So with this, when you enable this like this, essentially what will happen, this will let people know, or mods know, when this is being used during runs, because on the main, it's going to come up 2 times grenade launcher tool in red at the bottom of the screen on the main menu, and when you go into the stars office, just to let people that are verifying runs know that the tool is being used. If you're against the tool and you really don't want to use it, just toggle it off. Sorry, Jill, your grenade launcher is in another RNG seed. So if that's not your thing and you really are against it, don't have to have it on. But if you really don't want to reset every 1,000 runs, toggle it on. For me, I like simplicity, so we're going to keep that on. And then one more thing before I actually click this configuration, you always want to, if you want to mess around with some settings, go into your I have to actually start up the game one time before I do that. I need to have it boot up. So I'm going to go ahead and boot this up and close out. And now it's going to generate it should have generated. Where's it at? Oh, a config.ini file. So the config.ini file here, make sure that you have debug enable on. This lets you check out some things like invincibility, putting stuff in your inventory. If you just want to mess around with stuff and look into a deeper part of the game, you can do that. So just make sure you turn that to 1 from 0 if you want to do that. So let me go ahead and open up the game and explain a couple more things about the game. So like I said, when you open it back up, it's going to have the full window here, and hit OK. So here's the game. Let it boot up a little bit, and I binded all of my controls. Now, like I said earlier in the video, do not... Actually, this is going to be incredibly loud before I go any further. I forgot that whenever I have a new version of this game, my computer likes to put it at, like, the most deafening loudness. So I'm going to put it down to about 7 for now. So like I said earlier in the video, do not adjust any sort of binding or sound inside of here. So, like, you can look to see it. Like, for rebind controls, it's pretty. Don't touch it. Graphics settings, they're all here you can adjust, but like I said, you're better off just doing it inside of the actual excuse me, inside the actual config. Same thing with sound settings. You can adjust, but just leave it there and then exit. There's the special, which you can do the epilogue, and then there's the mercenaries. So you can actually access the mercenaries from here, which is nice. That's what the other EXE is for. That came for the thing. Load game, pretty self-explanatory, and this, that, and the other. So there's that. So another cool thing about this is if you were speedrunning this game, there was an SRT that you would use that you could see your in-game time. You could also see your health. You could see Nemesis's health or the Gravedigger, and you could see how much ammo you have. That's not needed anymore. If you press F5, is it F5? No, sorry, it's F6. I apologize. If you press F6 twice, you'll now see that there's a life, ammo, and boss meter. So no need to have any 500 other applications open just to keep track of the game. It's all inclusive now. So grenade launcher tool is built in, SRT is built in. You're going to need it, and you don't need to have a built-in timer because it's already what life split's going to be, and we're going to be setting that up next. So just to kind of give you a bit of a small little taste of it, I'll just show you what I mean by the actual, by your life and everything. So you can see right now you have your life meter, your ammo. Boss won't appear until Nemi and the Gravedigger comes. So as you can see, you got bit, and that's pretty self-explanatory. Now I'm going to go ahead and close out the game because I want to set up the auto splitter and everything for you guys. So that's going to be the next thing. So this is mostly for speedrun people, so if you're not really into speedrunning, you don't really have to watch it, but it's a good learning experience. So there is an auto splitter for this game, and there are some splits for this game that I'm going to go ahead and show you guys, and it's going to be, it links below in the description, and when you go to it, it's going to be right here. It's going to say splits and auto splitter for speedrunning. Now when you open it up, there's going to be this, and actually no, it's not going to open up. You guys aren't going to see this at all. I'm going to remove this. This is what we used to have to do the grenade launcher tool, but since this has been updated and the grenade launcher tool is built in, it's not needed. So when you go ahead and click on the link for the splits and auto splitter, it's going to be right here. Right click, go to download, and then you're going to get the Nemesis.asl, which is the auto split file for Nemesis %, and then this one right here, which is the ASL file for any %. We're going to focus on any % because that's what a lot of people run. So I'm going to go ahead and open up Life Split. Now it's going to open up some splits, but I'm going to go ahead and just close it out just to show you guys how to do it. Let me close my splits, and then I'm just going to, I don't know why, but whenever I go to right click open splits from file, it doesn't work with this one. So if you just double click on the any % clean, oh, it crashed. Oh, wonderful. Well, here, let's close it out and let's just double click it here. Oh no, wow. Okay, hold on 1 second. Alrighty guys, I'm back. Sorry about that. It was weird. I had to rechange my layout. This is just a layout I have custom. I'm sure you guys all have your own custom layouts. So when you double click this Resident Evil 3 any % clean, which I got from Orchelon a long time ago, it's going to open up every door split for any %. So there are a lot of them. There are a ton of every door that you would need for the route. So that you have that. If you want to set this up yourself, I would recommend just downloading this. Just makes it a lot easier than having to set it up yourself and putting a billion rooms. So another thing that you have to make sure that you have set up, and I probably already have it set up, is a Scriptable Autosplitter. So what I'm going to go ahead and do actually is I'm going to get rid of this and to show you guys how to do it. So we want to add a Scriptable Autoscripter this because there's not one built in when you're setting up your game. So you have to go to Add, go to Control, and go to Scriptable Autoscripter. And double clip it, and then it's going to pop up here, and you just go to browse, and I have mine on the desktop, so I'm going to go there, and this is for any %, so we're going to go ahead and double click that, and you'll see that it works because options start, split, and reset, which is good because when you press F9 in the game, it'll automatically reset your splits and your game at the same time, so you don't have to worry about pressing multiple buttons. So press OK, press OK. Now, like I said, my layout's going to look different than yours because it's custom, this, that, and the other. But, if you guys know how to set up live split, usually you'll be able to figure this out. So, last but not least, I'm going to go ahead and open up the game and just to show you how it works. So, open it up as you do, and then OK. And just to give you a little test to make sure that we actually set this up right. And, oh wow, hold on. Alrighty guys, sorry about that. So I didn't know, and I just found this out last minute, that the old split files that I was using was it was broken with the old timer. Apparently there's a patch for this. So disregard what I said with the downloading of, well, you're still going to download the same split thing from here where I said classic rebirth and that, except it's going to have more auto splits now. So you're going to see any percent, knife only, knife Nemesis, Nemesis percent, and then it's still going to have the splits in there. But apparently the old auto splitter was breaking the game. So disregard that. So still set it up exactly the same. Go into your edit layout, Scriptable Autoscripter, but don't do the one I did because apparently it doesn't work anymore, and I just found that out. So we're going to go ahead and go to where that is. And for sakes of this video, because I do 100%, we're going to do any percent. Then it should be fine. Then hit OK. And hit OK. And we're going to go ahead and reset that. And let me open up the game one more time just to show you that it works because, yeah, we have to final test it. I apologize if I sound like I'm droning, guys. I'm very tired. Worked all day, so I need to get this out, but I wanted to do this for you guys. So everything here should be fine. Let's turn on the grenade launcher tool because awesome. And okay. So because we have the grenade launcher tool, like I said, it should pop up in the main menu that we're using it. Yeah, see, grenade launcher tool activated. So anybody that's watching this that's in mod will be able to check it out. All right, so just to show you that it works. Now everything should be fine. There you go. So presto, now you've got your auto splitter with your splits and your brand new Resident Evil 3 game. That works out wonderful. Oh, and also don't forget to turn on your awesome SRT for it as well. But yeah, it's pretty straightforward. If you speedran this game before, maybe you haven't, or maybe you've never speedran anything before, this is essentially it. But I'm going to go ahead and F9 this because we are done with the video. I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to put links to everything in the description. I apologize about the whole the auto split thing. It was very last minute. I just realized looking at the Discord that we're in that we're using new ASL files. So I will probably cut out a lot of that. But yeah, if you have any questions about this, make sure you leave some comments and links, comments in the description, or leave some comments. Links to all of my stuff, links to Gemini stuff, anything is going to be below. We'll have links for everything you need for this video. And let me know what you guys think. If you like the content and you like all these guides and such, feel free to drop me a follow. I like to do lots of speedrun stuff and make guides for people. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching, everybody.